Good morning, everybody, and welcome to week 4 of our COMM class. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you got a chance to relax a little bit on the long weekend. So we're back in week 4. So this week is a little bit different because this week we are doing our first grammar lesson. So far, we've been talking about argumentation, persuasive writing, how to make an argument. We started by talking about what an argument is. Then we talked about how to brainstorm an argument. Um, and then last week we talked about the structure for how to take that information and turn it into an actual paragraph. So with all of that, we do have coming up in week 5 our first actual assignment due, and that is going to be the persuasive paragraph. So for us to get ready for that, for us to be able to do the best job that we can writing that assignment, it's important that we also talk a little bit about the close writing skills. Concise writing, clear writing, and grammatical writing. So that's why we're doing this lesson this week. So, one small note before I start talking about the lesson. Because of that 5 days that we missed with the Blackboard outage, I had to make a small change. I'm giving you guys a 1-week extension on the persuasive paragraph assignment. That was going to be due at the end of this week, but instead I've extended that, and that's going to be due at the end of week 5, the end of next week. What that means is that I've taken the quiz that was going to be next week and I've made it this week. But don't worry, it's on this lesson, so you will be fully prepared for that quiz. So just a very small little change in our schedule, but we're still covering everything. Everything is still going to be fine. So, this week we're doing grammar. At the end of this week, you're going to complete quiz number 3, and that is going to be a quiz that is on grammar. This grammar lesson is designed to help you write the assignment really well, but that assignment is not going to be due until the end of week 5. So, first, the grammar lesson. The grammar lesson has been posted on Blackboard. It is a fairly long PowerPoint lesson. It's about over 30 slides. So what I've done is I've broken it up into 3 sections. There's part 1, part 2, and part 3. And what I recommend for you guys is that you try to take it in 3 separate sittings, or at least give yourself a break in between. There is not any audio in this week's slide, and that's because with grammar, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit harder to speak about it while also looking at the example sentences. I was worried it would be a bit more confusing. So there's no audio, but there's some diagrams. It should hopefully be very clear. And as always, if you're struggling, if you feel like you're having trouble understanding the lesson that I'm trying to communicate, don't hesitate to email me, and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. So the quiz that is due at the end of this week is 10 questions, and I've also divided that quiz into 3 parts. There's part 1, which corresponds to part 1 of the PowerPoint slides. There's part 2, which corresponds to part 2 of the PowerPoint slides. And there's part 3, which corresponds to part 3 of the PowerPoint slides. So hopefully that also will make it a little bit clearer and a little bit more organized for you guys, so that the lesson's a little bit more accessible. The quiz is multiple choice, so just like the other quizzes that we've done, and this time you have up to 3 attempts. So my advice is to go through the lesson, take your time, do it in 3 sittings, but go through the full lesson before attempting the quiz. When you start the quiz, make sure that you have uh, the PowerPoint slides accessible. And you'll know that, when you're in part one of the quiz, you can look at the part one of the slides. When you're in part two of the quiz, you can look at part two of the slides. I have also posted a sheet. It's a Word document. It's just one page and it's a reference page. And that's just something that's going to help you with the grammar lesson as well. So make sure to have that on hand, have access to that as you're going through the PowerPoint slide. So that's really it for the grammar lesson. That's everything you guys need to know. Please let me know if anything's unclear or if you have any questions at all. In terms of the assignment, the assignment isn't due until the end of next week, so you've got 2 weeks to do it. But I really encourage you guys to try to get on it this week, if you can find the time. And the reason I think you should do it this week is just because it's going to be the most fresh in your mind this week. You did your brainstorming a couple weeks ago. Last week we did all that work talking about paragraph structure and the Tolman model. So if you do it this week, it will be most accessible to you. And I think you'll be able to do the best job if you do it this week. The assignment is very straightforward. It is a one paragraph, persuasive paragraph on the topic of gender-neutral parenting. So you don't have to start from scratch. It's something we've already been working on, already been thinking about. Having said that, you may find that some of the brainstorming you did before isn't going to work as well now that you have a better idea of what you want to do for the paragraph. And that's fine. There's no problem starting again. That was good practice. And you can decide how much of that you want to use for the assignment. The actual paragraph should be between 150 and 200 words. It is a persuasive paragraph, so you have to make sure you've got a strong, focused claim. And I'm asking you guys to use the Tolman model, which is the slightly more complex model that we looked at, but it's also the more reliable model. It's the one that is more often going to yield really good, persuasive, effective, argumentative paragraphs. So, you guys can hopefully go ahead and get started on that. I posted the assignment page, so please make sure to read that very carefully. A little later in the week, I'm going to be posting some extra materials for that. These are things that are just going to help you along the way. Some good reviews, some good reminders, things that'll help keep you on track for the assignment. I think that's it, guys. I've been talking for a while. Hopefully I didn't confuse anybody. But just to recap, this week you've got to do the grammar lesson, and then part of the grammar lesson is doing the quiz, and that's due at the end of this week. Doing the grammar lesson is ultimately going to help you do a great job writing your persuasive paragraph, and that is going to be due at the end of next week, the end of week 5. The quiz, as always, is only worth 2%, but the assignment that you're working on, the persuasive paragraph, that's worth 10%. So that's the biggest thing we've done so far. That's it, guys. Take care. I hope to hear from you soon. And as always, feel free to get a hold of me with any questions, any concerns, or anything that is not clear at all. Take care.